What's up, Eagles Nation? We are in the building. This is Bry with Eagles Real Talk. The fly is covering the Eagles in the game. Thank you for joining me today. It is game day. I thought we played at 1 p.m. my time, but it looks like we got an early game. We're stated to play 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm ready to go. I'm up. I'm ready to go. As you can see, we're up in Adam over here. We're getting ready for this week 11 matchup versus the Colts, the 4-5-1 Colts. They're gonna be at home today. We're gonna be on the road. It's snowy and cold on the East Coast, but that's nothing the birds aren't used to. We're gonna get into the stats, and we're gonna see who's in, who's out. We're going to go over the spread, and we're just going to go over kind of like the numbers. What's up, Patrick? What's up, my guy? We're going to go straight into it. But for now, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and fly Eagles fly with me, Patrick. What's up, my guy? Fly Eagles fly. Hit that subscribe button, hit a like on this video, and let's get straight into it. So, the Eagles will be taking on the Eagles will be taking on the Colts, not in Philadelphia. They're going to be in a dome today, which usually is good for us. I feel like hurts the run game, even the pass game gets going really good in an indoor stadium. You have to look at who we played this year indoor. So we played against the first week, AJ went off in that dome in Detroit. And then a couple weeks ago, we were in the Houston's stadium, had another good game. So I expect us to come out balling today in a dome. They're not going to be, going up against the elements, which is football. I mean, they know the deal. They played high school, college, and now they're in the pro. So they played in all types of elements. But today, we will be in a dome. We're favored to win this game. ESPN has us favored 70% to 30%. So it looks like we're head and shoulders above the rest. Go Eagles, CUC of Green Productions. We're head and shoulders above this team as far as talent goes. Quarterback, I don't know who are they putting at quarterback. It really doesn't matter to me. If they play Matt Ryan, he's a statue basically at this point in his career. The defensive line will feast on him. I feel like it'll be a similar game to when we played Carson Wentz in Washington earlier this year. We were all over him, like a cheap suit. He just couldn't get us off of him. He was feeling the pressure all game. And then also, Matt Ryan, he has 10 touchdowns, but he has 9 interceptions. So he's not throwing no lasers out there. He doesn't have this, extremely well put together offense. The Colts are really, they're in shambles this year. Let's be honest. They're all over the place. They fired their head coach. They have a quarterback coming in and out of the line. They don't know what they're doing. Jonathan Taylor's been banged up, but Jonathan Taylor is healthy this week. So that's one thing we have to remember going into this week. We've had a lot of struggles with Jonathan Taylor, and we'll get into that in a second. But let's stay with the quarterbacks. So on the opposing side, obviously, we have Jalen Hurts, MVP candidate, 8-1 on the year. I think he won 11 straight regular season games as a starting quarterback, so he's been balling. He has 2,217 yards, 14 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. So it's literally the polar opposites as far as Matt Ryan goes. And their backup, if he plays, I mean, good luck. It'll be a tough game if they don't play. Probably Nick. That would be funny. Now, that would actually be hilarious, Patrick, if he went out there and somehow, some way, Nick Foles gets out in the game. I wouldn't be surprised. Jeff Saturday, he's coming from TV. You know what I mean? He's coming from TV. He's looking to make splashes. He's looking, to do a good job this year. And he's probably willing to, throw, what's his name, out there just for tomorrow's headlines and the rest of the day. The headlines, the story. It'll be a fun story if Nick Foles actually goes out there. But we'll see. I'll pump the brakes on that. Just because it's unlikely, but at the same time, Jeff Saturday, come from ESPN, you never know. As far as their running backs go, I just talked about it. Jonathan Taylor, he was banged up all year long, and now as of last week, it looks like he's healthy. So we're gonna be going up against a hell of a back today. And we've had our struggles. I mean, let's be honest. We've had our struggles the past, how many weeks? It's going on 3 weeks now. The run game has just been getting, thrashed. So it's going to be a tough matchup for us. I'm sure Jeff Saturday has it in the game plan. Heavy run. It's probably going to be 60% to 40% pass. So we got our work cut out for us. I hope Jonathan Gannon stacks the box today because their wide receivers don't really scare me. And then here's why. So they have Pittman Jr. He's actually having a solid season. Don't get me wrong. 61 receptions, 603 yards, but only 1 TD. So he's not too much of a threat. Yeah, exactly. He's not too much of a threat out there. And who do we have? We have Slay. Slay didn't have the greatest game last week. I'm going to be the first to say it. I was a little bit surprised on Slay. He seemed like he wasn't locked in like he usually is, and he was giving up some plays that he usually doesn't get. He got beat a couple times by McLaurin, and don't get me wrong, McLaurin's a hell of a wide receiver, but we'll see today, exactly. We'll see if he steps back up, into that top cornerback position where he has been. Bradbury as well. So I'm not worried about them. They have Paris Campbell on the outside. They have a couple guys out there. They're solid. They got a solid wide receiver core. It's a young, up and coming type of wide receiver core. A veteran defense like ours on the outside with CJ in the back. I expect another interception by CJ, by the way. He's going to keep his streak going. I think he's at, 4 or 5 games in a row? It's crazy. So I think he's going to continue that, get another interception. He may bring one, he may take one all the way to the house today. He may take one all the way to the crib and, get 6. I think he's due up for a pick 6. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about their pass game. It's more about their run game. If we can stop their run game or at least keep Jonathan Taylor, somewhat handled, not like completely run all over us, I think we'll be just fine. Out today, Josh Jobe is out, Sua Opeta's out, Trey Sermon's not suiting up, and then we also have the 2 guys on IR, Maddox and Goddard. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. This is football. On the other side of the ball, they have Matt Pryor. He's out. Chris Williams, Jelani Woods, Mike Straken, and then also Kwity Paye, who is a pretty solid defensive end. He will be out today. So we're going to be going up against, a solid defensive line, but they have some guys on IR and stuff. They have some injuries up front. I feel like our offensive line should take care of business. I feel like it shouldn't be a problem going up against this front. But the Colts defense, they're solid. They got Gilmore out there. They have a solid, they have solid pieces. I think they haven't put it all together because maybe they've had, bad coaching. Maybe they've had, the offense giving up the ball too much. And I'm talking about Matt Ryan. He has 10 picks this year. So they haven't been in sync. They're a team that's kind of in disarray. So let's talk about the over-under. The over-under is 45. So I feel like that's a number we'll probably go over. I'll get into my score prediction in a second. But it seems like, it should be a somewhat high-scoring game for us. I expect us to be, in the 30s probably against a team like this, especially since last week we kind of didn't get it done like we usually do. Usually we're in the high 20s or the 30s. Last week, we only scored 21 points. So it was kind of a lull day for us. I expect the offense to have some fireworks today. Points per game wise, they're at 15.5 points per game, and we're at 27.5. So there's a big discrepancy there. I expect the score to look something like that. I expect them to score anywhere from 13 to 17 points, and us to score 27 to 33 points. But I'll get into the score prediction in a second. They also allow more points. They allow 20 points on defense. We allow 18.6. That has slipped a little bit or went up. And actually, for us, the points allowed, we're kind of allowing a little bit more points than we were at the beginning of the season. But I think that's just because we have a few guys banged up and are out of the game. Rush yards per game. We're giving up 201 rush yards, okay? And they're averaging 98 rush yards. So it's not nothing to be, too concerned about. But at the end of the day, they have Jonathan, and we have to be very, very careful not to let him go off on us today. In the past game, yards per game, we're actually at 248, and they're at 253. So they passed it around the yard, which is kind of surprising. I didn't think they would have that many yards, but at the end of the day, Matt Ryan kind of stacked up a lot of big games towards the beginning of the season as far as pass yards go. So I think that's a deceiving stat. I think Jalen Hurts will definitely outpass whoever they have out there today. Their last 5 games. So their last 5 games, they are 2-5, and we are 4-1. Their last game was against the Raiders. They won it 25-20. So they were able to put up 25 points, which is solid. We only put up 21 last week, which is very disappointing. I expect us to be flying on offense. I expect us to be flying on defense. We're just going to make a lot of plays today, essentially. We're in a dome. Like I mentioned earlier, we're in a dome. We should be able to, fly all over the field. The elements aren't going to slow us down as far as like wet weather or it just being hella cold outside. So I think a team like us in a dome is bad news for whoever we play. It is going to be 32 degrees there, but like I said, we're in the dome, so we're not affected by those elements. The over-under, like I talked about, was 45 points. The money line, they're obviously favoring us, and I feel like we're just going to take it to them. I think Vegas kind of sees this as an obvious win for us. We're 6.5-point favorite, so we should at least win by a touchdown, but who knows? These games have been kind of crazy the past couple weeks. Some teams are stepping up. Some teams are kind of getting a little, lagging a little bit. Talking about the Bills and a couple other teams who were expected to be really good this year have kind of slowed down the past couple weeks. I don't expect that for us. I'm just going to go out and say that. Last week, yeah, it was a tough week. The refs were trash. And I'm like Jason Kelce. You can't blame the refs for the loss because those 3 bad calls, they weren't the entire game. And yeah, they were game-changing calls, you have to be honest. But at the end of the day, we can't blame them because we fumbled twice, okay? Once in the red zone for a possible touchdown. And don't get me wrong, Goddard's fumble wasn't all the way his fault. He did get dragged down by his face mask, which probably caused him to fumble the ball and injure his shoulder. But regardless, we can't blame it on the refs. We got to go out there and take care of business. So my score prediction for the Eagles versus the Colts in Indianapolis, I'm going to go 34-17. I feel like they'll have some solid success in the run game off and on throughout the game. I don't think it's going to be every quarter they run on us. I think it'll maybe be at the beginning, maybe a little bit in the middle, but they're not going to run all the way over us. I feel like our defense, Jonathan Gannon, is going to stop the run this week. At least my fingers are crossed. You know what I mean? You can't really 100% predict how Gannon is going to play. He could play back like he always does, back in zone. But I expect us to play maybe a little bit more man today, kind of get after the quarterback and let Slay and Bradbury and Epps and CJ make some plays in the backfield. That's going to do it for me today. Just a quick little pre-game live. I hope you guys are comfortable and ready for your, ready to, watch the birds fly today. So with that said, if you're in the chat, make sure to hit that subscribe button and get down with ERT. Quick note. Jalen Hurts. How many touchdowns do you think he's going to throw today? Let me know in the comments. I think he's going to throw for 2 touchdowns, and I think he's going to run for 1, and then Miles Sanders is going to get a running touchdown as well. So we're going to have 4 touchdowns and then a couple field goals. Let me know in the comments. I'm Bry with Eagles Real Talk, signing out. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'll catch y'all after the game. Peace.